Welcome to another bench evaluation. Today we have the Honor Defense, and this particular model is, I believe, the Honor Guard. Look at that. Memory like a steel trap, rusted shut and everything. There are some things I really like about this, and then there's some marginal things, but all in all, it's a pretty neat little gun. Show you it's empty before we start playing with it. It's small and thin. This particular one's in 9mm. It doesn't feel good. Now, granted, I realize that's a personal preference deal. Looks, the way something feels, it may be way too small or way too big for your hands, but it feels good in my hands, and I don't mind it. The trigger pull is a little, it's not real creepy. It's a little bit, but it's stiff. It's just a little stiff, but I think it would wear in, and I think you just get used to it. It's not a bad thing. We have good lockup. You can see that the barrel moves up into the ejection port by a lot. We got a ton of lockup. We do have a little bit of loose breech. You can hear it, and you can actually see the barrel slop back and forth a little bit. But with a ton of lockup, it can handle a little bit of loose breech without any issues. The ramp is a little on the deep side. So a warm load, you may end up with a bulged or, heaven forbid, a ruptured case, but it could happen. The extractor is pretty dang good. It's very positive on the hook. It really wants to dig into the rim of that cartridge case. The front of the extractor is awful close to the rim cut. Here's a dummy, and the front of the rim cut here. We don't want the extractor to hit that, because, again, the firing pin hits the primer, shoves the whole case forward as far as it's going to go. Powder turns from solid to a gas. The case is driven rearward. For every action, equal and opposite reaction. The bullet's being forced down the barrel. The case expands and is driven back against the breech face. If the front of the extractor is too close to this inclined plane, as the case is rocketed to the rear, it hits the face of the extractor and can throw the extractor away. That inclined plane hits the extractor and forces it out as everything starts to move back and unlock. So we want our extractor, again, to not touch the inclined plane, but it does have a good hook. It's a massive extractor. I'm going to take the gun apart in just a minute. The takedown lever, very similar to a lot of guns, but a little different than a lot of our polymer guns that we're used to. We're used to the little lever that you pull straight down, and there's a little thin lever, or that takedown lever is fairly thin. This is a big, massive rod that goes across here. So it's just very substantial, not really a problem. Anyhow, this is an evaluation. We're going over it. It is an ambidextrous gun. The magazine catch right or left. It is steel. The magazines are steel. And there's a neat feature on that I want to talk about, but I don't want to get too far ahead of myself before we start talking about the extractor. If you look in here, you can see our extractor right here. Tall from here to there. Remember, we got a lot of lockup, so that barrel moves up quite a little bit, moves down a fair piece to unlock, and the cartridge needs to stay underneath the extractor. If it moved down, the extractor hook no longer grabbed the rim, it wouldn't extract very well, would it? So that's a good feature. We have good tension and good spring out. Everything else looks okay. You can see this one's brand new. I mean, we got the red stuff still in here. So I don't think this gun's even been fired. Looking down the barrel, it's got some dust in it, but I don't think it's been fired. There's no brass wash or anything. I think it's going to hold up well. Before we jump onto the magazine, one thing that I like is the front sight has a screw, and you can get at it with a Torx head. So Torx head or slot, I don't really care. I like the fact it's a screw that you can get at, which is nice. So you can replace your sights. Small, compact, recoil spring, affair. Pretty simple, not a whole lot there going on. I did not take the back strap off, but it comes with a thinner profiled back strap, replaceable. The rest of it's pretty basic. You got a ambidextrous slide stop. You got a good, big, massive ejector that lines up with the ejector slot. Inside the gun, let me turn that around there. There it is. Coming out. We're going to eject. Not worried about that at all. I'm saving that magazine stuff for last. There's something on the magazines I just think is really cool. One thing I don't care for, we have a firing pin block right here. I like firing pin blocks. I don't have a problem with that. But if you look, right next to it is a little teeny tiny hairspring torsion spring. For a gun that's carried, and I believe that that's what this one is for, is as a carry gun. I don't want little teeny pieces that get filled with dust and lint and dirt. And I've had revolvers come in, Smith & Wesson revolvers, and the guy says, hey, I can't pull the trigger anymore. And you pull it apart and it's full of so much lint that it's just everything's compacted in there, you can't pull the trigger. So a little bit of rust, dried oil, lint, pine needles, blood, debris, salt, pepper, whatever happens to drift down in there, can easily bind that up. Is it going to bind it up? I don't know. I'm not saying it's going to. I never like anything that's little teeny tiny like that can be a problem. Just my thing. So that is something that I would be aware of. So when the guys go and shoot it, they won't have carried it for 6 months in a holster gathering lint and dust, but they're going to shoot it. It's going to get powder and stuff. They'll know if there's going to be any kind of defect going on. The ramp doesn't go quite to the bottom of the foot. The actual facet doesn't quite travel all the way down. Do I think it's going to be a problem? No. It is blued. I like it when those are polished, a little smoother. This has got a matte finish, so it's a little rougher. I like the gun overall. I think it's going to hold up. I think it's going to work well. The stamped sheet metal parts appear to be fairly massive, so we don't have to worry about things breaking there. And let's face it, there's a lot of guns on the market that have been on the market for a long time that use sheet metal parts that are very thin. Some of them half the thickness of this, that last and last and last and last and last. So not really an issue. I'm just mentioning that this is pretty massive on the stamped sheet metal, and I think it's going to hold up just fine. The magazines. So our magazine catch is steel, and it's ambidextrous. So when I look down in there, if you watch that go across, you got that stud right in the middle. It's that diamond-shaped guy. Moves back and forth. And I'm used to most of your ambidextrous safeties like this. They move in and out, not back and forth, side to side. So I thought, so I grabbed the magazine body here. Here's the area that sticks out that the magazine catch moves in front of, or gets underneath, I should say, not in front of. And when you push the magazine catch one way or the other, it moves out, and the magazine can move down. Or you push it the other way and it moves down, because again, it's ambidextrous either side. And I'm like, oh, that's cool. The reason I like it is subtle. We don't run into it very often. But if you've got a notch cut in the side of your magazine, like a lot of guns, most of them, and the magazine catch enters that, there is the potential, and I have seen it, and I have fixed it on some guns, where the magazine catch actually goes into the magazine and actually can rub on the spring, and the cartridge is trying to feed inside. Once it's fitted, it's a non-issue. But I've actually fixed that on 1911s. This one, the magazine catch gets nowhere near the inside where the shells are moving around. It's just a neat feature. It's just something a little different. It's kind of cool. We got 2 magazines, or this particular gun came with 2 magazines. One is a 7-round magazine and goes flush with the back here. Doesn't feel too bad. Good one for my little finger gets underneath, but a lot of guys that really bugs them. I prefer it if that finger's on something, but if it wraps underneath like so, I can still manipulate the gun. I still don't, it doesn't bother me. Let's put it that way. Put the gun back together real quick. So concealed carry, you know, small, my hand still wraps around. I don't worry about it too much. The other one is an 8-round magazine. And you can see it's got the spacer here. So it slides up in. Gives you room for that bottom finger. Does that feel better? Absolutely, to me. Is it life or death? No, I'm not going to decide not to buy the gun based on that alone. Now, I would imagine that this piece comes right off the top like that, and that this probably, I don't know, probably make a larger model, simply larger in the grip frame. I don't know. Last, a cosmetic thing. You guys are going to have to decide for yourself if you like, for yourself, not shelf, for yourself, if you like this guy that sticks out here, the bottom part of the frame that's got the teeth on it for the tactical stuff. You'll have to make the call. That's a personal preference. It is polymer, so if you chose not to like it, you could cut it off and dress it down, make it look nice. Up to you. I think the gun is going to run just fine. I don't think there's going to be a problem. The magazine, one last thing that I try to look at every time, the magazine, the front of the magazine comes up close to the bottom of the ramp. And then there's a bit of a jump on this one. So there's a distance between the magazine and the ramp. So the shell can hit the magazine, jump way over and catch the ramp. It's best if the magazine, this being the magazine, this being the ramp, it's best if the magazine comes up to where the ramp is below the magazine. That way if a shell nosedives, hits the magazine, comes up, it's going to hit the ramp now and continue to feed. When there's a gap, the nose of the bullet, for whatever reason, always wants to catch between the magazine and the ramp if there's a gap there. This one has a jump. I don't think it's going to be a problem. I think the gun is going to work well. So, if you can get over that, the trigger's a little on the heavy side, like I said. But I think I'd go and shoot it a bunch. Make sure that it's, you know, that you can shoot it well and go from there. No magazine disconnect. Great in a defense gun, in my opinion. If the magazine's out, I still want that last chance to stop the bad guy if I have to. All right, that's that. I'm going to get this back down to the boys down south and let them all shoot it. They get the fun part. You get to shoot all the guns. Oh, well. I'll see you guys later.